K-Bar TV, voice of the voices.
3FM.
Akromfo a obi atwere krataa no krono sem na ewudi sem ne nkwasi sem na ahyemu ma na emom Ghana fo buefu ne awatwere krataa no de bi enya ne awatwere krataa ne na ne buefu no na emom etrimodinfo ene sebita frache ejimifo a ne ewo krataa no mu aye nyina ye gitum se enye no o mahwe ayo. But we are not outraged by what is written in the document Ejapadie.
Right.
We are outraged by the fact that if we accept that what is written in it is plunder of state, it's sabotage of a nation,
you are watching Juicy
all
News
the things
on
written in it
Hot news all
has
time.
also been implemented.
But Okyenhene, His Royal Majesty says it's fiction. The president says this is targeted at my tribe, Achim,
and I love them. And as somebody
and
who,
then Gabi Otredako says anybody who believes
no, please leave Gabi out of it.
Can put that.
No, you see, I worry when you elevate the mundane. Gabi is a good citizen who is working to earn a living to look after his family.
Right.
You and I did not vote for him. Somebody you voted for has empowered him to do whatever he does. So I don't like it when people attack him.
2.7.
Who voted for Gabi?
Well, but he is an Achim as well. So
Yeah, but
he has a stake.
there are good Achims. You know, when you go to Achim, there are good Achims.
Right.
In the same way as there are good Krobos, as there are good Gas, there are good Adansis. You know, there are in every society, in every field of endeavor, there is only one absolute superstar. But there will also be a cabal of wicked, selfish, greedy, plundering fools and their tools. So you talked about the fact that a chief,
Right.
and you made a mistake. He's Kwaibi Bremuhene.
Okay.
You see, the Ochimine has 3 key
Right.
places there.
Right.
You know, so he's Kwaibi Bremuhene.
Okay.
You know, I don't think he's lord over the other villages there, unless they now swear allegiance to him. So let's get that clear in the first place.
Right.
I come from a royal palace, and I have been taught culture since I was a child. It was intentional, you know, so it's not something that came by a freak
By
of
accident.
nature. No, I actually learned culture,
Right.
and I even sat at the feet of Nikbobi Tetechu La Manche
Right.
to learn Ga culture. So I have actually learned it and understand it. And recently, you know, I went up, not to go and greet Yana.
Right.
Because there too, there are chiefs who I sit with to learn about their culture. Because as somebody who is an avowed linguist for my country, Ghana, it is important that I'm able to contextualize things when I speak about them. So you said Okyenhene said, what?
It's fiction.
Okay, Kwaibi Bremuhene says it's fiction.
Yeah.
That's okay. He's a citizen. And he's a leader of a certain part of Ghana. Did he say it himself, or did he let his linguist say it?
He said it himself.
Now, that is one of the failures of many of our chiefs. One thing you should understand, that when people elevate you into a position of power, whether it is traditional leadership, public service leadership, political leadership, not thought leadership. People don't elevate you into thought leadership. You work to be seen as a thought leader. So I digress for a second.
Right.
When Frank Kafka wrote of political parties that one idiot is one idiot, 2 idiots are 2 idiots,
You are watching
1,000
Juicy News on
idiots
YouTube.
is a political
Hot news
party.
all time.
He had a reason for saying it. Because when you're part of that political party, whatever it is, whatever name you want to give it, if the leader does wrong and you criticize the leader, there is great likelihood they will silence you. And that is why linguists must not align themselves with political parties. I am more knowledgeable and better qualified than many people who have been appointed into government. I haven't gone to seek any government position.
But why?
No, because I can earn a living and be in a position where I can be giving to the poor and needy, not to help the greedy. But when we elevate people into positions of authority, they must first look for people who are honest. If they are not honest, don't call them. People who are selfless, if they are not selfless, don't call them. People whose income and property are verifiable, if they are not, don't call them. Because if it is not verifiable, well, it could be money that was poured from God, or it could be money that is sikagari, or it could be like Mario Puzo wrote on the first page of The Godfather. Behind every fortune, there is a crime.
92.7.
So, it is only after you have gone through the test of honest, selfless, verifiable source of income that you must now look at competence. Because if you find the competent who are dishonest and who are selfish and whose source of wealth is a mystery,
It's not verifiable.
there is a great likelihood that when they come into government, they will plunder, they will steal.
So what do we?
So when I come to what the chief said,
Right.
when you are elevated into a position of authority, it does not give you monopoly over truth. You do not determine truth. No. And I started earlier by stating that power does not determine truth.
That's correct.
Truth is the ultimate power. What is the truth? Stop talking about the document and start talking about the fact that the things in the document have been implemented. That is my outrage. Not who wrote the document. Their language is poor. You know, some Ghanaians are impressed. I'm not. At 15, my son was the top youth speaker in the world, not in London, not in Africa, in the world. We sit and we debate. And some say, where is my courage from? I don't have courage. What I have is an upbringing by a modest father and a modest mother who taught us that everything we desire is already within us. And who taught us that we can earn an honest living and live with dignity. Now, beyond that, you said the president also said what?
Well, it's targeted at his tribesmen, or if you like, his kin and kin.
What is so special about his tribesmen that people will target them? Have you read J.B. Dankwa's letter? Can you put it on the screen if you can ask your producer to?
Right. It's the Obdam's letter.
Have you read that?
Yes, we have.
Is that something that you should envy a man for doing? You see, we spend our lives thinking people think so highly of us. And then when we are sick in bed in our old age, and none of our children is there to clean our poo, because we have taught our children to be corrupt, and in their corruption, they have no time for family values. And some poor stranger from our village's child is the one who grants us some dignity. We realize nobody really cared about us in the first place.
Are you disappointed in President Akufo Addo?
He's an individual. To err is human, but to really foul up things requires somebody who has been given power, who doesn't know how to use it, but to use it to plunder for his own family. President Akufo Addo has not given his daughter a $34.9 million contract. But if I were him, if it was my father, I tell you for certain that by now, my father would have fired the person who gave my child the contract.
And why would he do that?
He would do that because he would say, you were told by the Auditor General that this company that you are giving work doesn't do any work at all, does not have the expertise, and does not have the staff. So why did you stop the work of all the others who were actually servicing the ambulances and then give it to somebody who exchanges bodily fluids with my daughter or has a child with my daughter? Because if somebody exchanges bodily fluids with me and the person has a child with me, whatever benefits accrue to them. This is not wisdom. Wisdom is the highest form of common sense. This is just common sense. This is basic.
We have not climbed yet.
No, this is just common sense. This is basic.
So how is it that then we're not getting it right?
No, so I don't understand why. If the people are at post, and I've explained this already to you,
right,
that you judge the king by his courtiers.
Correct.
So if the courtiers are at post, who do the egregious, who do the odious, and who do the callous and malicious, then that is the character of the king.
But we have the men.
I try not to parrot the words of fools, and you should cease and desist in the words of Blay, whose wife stole beer when she was PR manager at ABC Brewery Limited and has been awarded a position as an ambassador. Yeah, I speak of Daily Guide. Publish it. Your wife was sacked for stealing beer at ABC Brewery Limited, and she's been awarded an ambassador.
The ABC
Brewery Limited, where I was advertising manager.
Right.
Where Michael Vass was the marketing manager. Where Bruno Rao, Michael Vass was the managing director, and Bruno Rao was the marketing manager.
On YouTube.
Look, we live in a country where everybody knows everybody. A beer thief, a common thief, sacked for thievery, represents Ghana as an ambassador.
I see.
And we all sit down and we tickle ourselves in the armpits and laugh. Yeah, this is a fact. I was working there. There was staff there. And
there was an investigation.
Please. And then they try to get the managing director deported. For what?
No,
but Germans don't take that nonsense.
But this allegation is a serious.
It's not allegation. It's a fact. What do you mean allegation? Do I look like somebody who does allegations? I'm the one that people allege things against. I state facts.
I see.
Why? There are people from ABC Brewery who are still alive. I mean, we live in a society where we are divided along the lines of party. So, if somebody has done something wrong in your party, you don't speak about it or you defend them. If they've done something wrong in another party, then you speak about it and you defend them. I don't have a party. My party is Ghana, my motherland. And we must all work towards ensuring that the best elements of our society are the leaders. We may have made a mistake to elect some people, and they also may have made a mistake to appoint some people. But this nonsense must stop.
At what point?
Now. Everybody who has been named in the Ijapadia document, whether it is fact or fiction, whether it is written by a wicked person who has told people who wrote that document or who implemented that document, that if you want your children to succeed, give them water from a gutter to drink in the morning. Give them kerosene to drink in the afternoon. Make sawdust and chicken poo and feed them with it in the evening. And then after somebody has said those things or written those things, you implement them. Who is the fool?
Let's get into very...
Just before you go there,
right.
You remember how when I was falsely accused, Daily Guide was so strong in doing nasty stories on me.
Right.
So I just sent one person to tell the man and his wife that the next thing you write about me, I'll tell the world about your petty thievery.
Right.
Why do people want to pretend that everything is kosher when we know that it is not?
So it was when you sent somebody there that the reportage stopped, or what? Because we don't have that.
I do not know.
We don't.
I do not know.
Because we don't have that.
And then you remember when my son said he was trans. Oh, they were also very strong on it. And then I reminded them again, and then they shut up. But I realized,
but we don't have we don't have the benefit of that report as a media house.
So you don't have
we can't independently verify.
No, you can independently verify. Go back into ABC
No,
records.
at this particular time.
Yes,
at this particular time.
You can always, no, I am not. You see, I don't speak on TV or radio and withdraw. I was raised by wise parents.
Right.
I speak truth, and I am not afraid to speak truth. In President Mahama's era, when they said a confirmed flew out of Ghana,
Right.
and I spoke about it, was I NDC or MPP?
You were Ghanaian.
In President Rawlings's era, when there was a petrol shortage, and I spoke about it on radio and I was taken off air at GBC, that I do not understand why when there is a petrol shortage and people driving Beetles cannot even get petrol for their cars, some people in government are driving Pajeros. Why aren't they driving smaller cars that consume less? Was I MPP or NDC? You see, my brother, how much are we going to eat, wear, and enjoy before we die? And how much is enough? Really, how much?
Do people threaten you?
Oh, plenty.
What do they say?
The last one, my pastor called me and then he says, Kwesi, and then I burst out laughing. And he says, She, Menoka, serious matter, I was sick. And then he said it in English, actually. Right. And then I said, Osofo, aren't you the very man who says when we die, we'll go to heaven?
92.
Why aren't we in a hurry to die and go to heaven? You know, so he asked me, where is this your courage from?
Right.
In fact, Sixtus also sent me a text this morning to ask me that question. I think, let me see if I can find the answer I sent to Sixtus Dongulo. And I've told Sixtus that he needs to be on radio or television because he cannot use that voice just for seducing his wife at home. He should use it for work. He should put it to the use.
He actually joins us in the morning for the news review segment.
I like that. He has a lovely voice, beautiful voice. And I want to read what I sent to Sixtus because I have forgotten exactly what I wrote. Sometimes I write stuff and I realize later that it is not my power that wrote what I did. Okay, so 60 says, I associate with the question, where do you get your courage from? Because I think Mugabe Masi also asked me that question. And my answer to 60 is,
my dear brother, Sixtus Dongulo, how are you? This question, dear, I don't know if I have to write a thesis or I have to answer with electives. But really, I think everything we are is actually a bundle of gifts and an accident of genes. So the genes of my parents and my grandparents before them are part of it. And then the upbringing is part of it. Because we were taught to speak our minds as children. My father would raise an issue and expect you to speak your mind on it. You know, and in doing so for years, you gained a certain competence in responding to questions properly. And with that competence, you gained a certain confidence. And then with that confidence, you gained courage.
was it clear?
Yeah, clear enough.
So that's what I still think that's what it is. It all starts with the accident of your genes, because if you were born to cowards, you can determine to become courageous, because we're two young men born to the same family. They all had the same father,
Right.
who was an unapologetic drunk. And one of them became a more unapologetic drunk, and the other never drank. So one day they were asked, they all went to the same college, and the dean asked them, how come you don't drink, but you drink? Now, the first one to answer the question was the drunk. He says, I drink because my father was a drunk, and he bequeathed his genes to me. And the other said, I don't drink because my father was a drunk, and I learned from him, because there are only two types of learning,
Right.
what to do and what not to do. So young people, look at every government from Kwame Nkrumah's time to date. Every one of them made some errors. But some people did more good than evil, and learn what to do and what not to do.
Who founded Ghana?
Who founded Ghana?
Yes.
Ghana itself was founded by so many citizens who fought under different leaderships, but which all culminated in one gentleman who was brought from abroad by some people working in Ghana for a party, who were advised by Akufo that there is this man who is charismatic and he has the gift of oratory and he's a great organizer, and he's recognized not just by Ghanaians but by black people in the UK and America. I think if we can get this man, he can bring some impetus to the struggling that we are having here.
Okay.
So it would be unfair to give all credit to only Kwame Nkrumah. But in the same way as it would be unfair to give the greatness of Ghana's football today to Tony Yeboah or Abedi Pele, or to give the greatness of the Argentina team's football exploits today to so many other players.
92.7.
There is a Maradona and there is a Lionel Messi.
Right.
If there is one person that stands head and shoulders above others, who is a giant where all others were midgets, that person is Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. So I do not say he's the only one who founded Ghana. There were so many midgets around that giant. And I think I've written something which I must read.
Right.
Because the people who helped to found Ghana, not Gold Coast, because some people get confused. Gold Coast had a British leadership.
Right.
But what became Ghana, I think it's fair to give the credit to the first president of Ghana, and then have a market woman represented as one of the founders of Ghana. Market women. And then honest workers of Ghana. Honest and courageous, not only honest. Who marched with him, who stood with him, who stood by him. So I will put Kwame Nkrumah, I will put a market woman, I'll put honest workers, and then I'll put honest teachers, and then I will put honest farmers. If we can do this, we can say Kwame Nkrumah and some great and courageous minds who did not end up being betrayers founded Ghana. I do understand it's intellectual debate,
Right.
and the intellectual debate must be had, because this man stands great and tall and mighty. If he is a giant, others are merely midgets. If he is a thought leader, because that's what he was for Pan-Africanists everywhere in the world, others are Kwatrekwa. It's a fact. And that's the people who want to claim that their forebears are part of the founders of Ghana. Know now, because the likes of myself, the likes of Professor Jampo, the likes of Adai Sebo, the likes of Kofi Nkrumah, the likes of you, the likes of Bernard Avle, have all shared this document. The one that Afrifa wrote, pleading for the British to still lead us.
Right.
And the one that J.B. Dankwa wrote, portraying Kwame Nkrumah as a betrayer because he wants independence for his people. Show us that some people who we thought were heroes are nothing more than zeros. Let them rest in shame.
KKD TV, voice of the voices.